right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to the meeting. Today's date is May 13th, 2019 at 6:30, the Motley City Regular Council meeting. Roll call, Lacey, please.
Councilmember Johnson,
Here.
Councilmember O'Regan,
Here.
Councilmember Carlson,
Here.
Mayor Yoder,
Here.
and Councilmember Hutchison is absent.
Okay, thank you. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? We have a couple of things here. First one is the claim number we're gonna add. We added on, do you guys want those? For the checks? Aye. It's 31348. Next one is 31391. And the EFT is 30274. And 30279. And then there was this extra packet handed out that we're gonna add, the resolution for accepting a donation under, between N and O there. And the resolution will be 2019-20, the accepting a donation from the Lions Club. Somebody wanna make a motion to approve those additions?
So moved.
Motion made by O'Regan, looking for a second. Second by Steve. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Alright, I'm looking to approve consent agenda A to H.
A to I, do we add I?
The I is in there.
Do we have to?
Yep, we added to
Okay.
it, say leave it just the way it is, I just added that in there, so,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
okay.
Second.
Motion made by Carlson, second by O'Regan. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda request. David Colby, approval of emergency shelter plan for the mobile home park, page 14 and 17. You, David,
Yes, sir.
you have the floor.
I have a proposal here that.
Okay, can, you wanna bring it up here?
Sure.
All right, I'll just read it here. So per statute, any mobile home that has up to 10, there's a certain statute, and anybody has over 10, there's a stat. They have a statute for different ones, but anyways, David apparently wanted to update yours, correct?
Yes.
Because originally it was the city hall here, is that correct?
City Hall and the school.
Okay. So is this something that the church is approving too, or no?
Yes.
No? Okay.
Mhm.
Because I think that today I had talked, or the Pastor Jim had talked to me and called me and talked to me, and there was this discussion whether or not that would be, because their building is locked. He didn't know for sure, he had said he had to talk to the board yet for sure if that would be a great spot. I mean, they have a great spot for you especially. But the key part would be is like, what happens overnight if all of a sudden a storm comes and nobody can get to open it up for these people? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Have you thought of that at all, or?
Well, the only thing that we arrived at was, you guys were supposed to have a key.
Right.
But then Lacey said there was liability there and the city didn't want to get into that. So I asked Pastor Jim if it would be okay if one of the park residents had the key.
Okay.
And I told him who that was, and do you want to know who that is?
He told me who it is.
Okay, and he said that was fine, and he was gonna go to the board, a couple board members or something, and
Right.
get their approval. So he called me back about 3 o'clock, 3:30 or so, and said that they said that's fine.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because that would be my concern is if, you know, even if the guy wasn't home or if he was sick or what happens if a storm hits, and most storms happen, if you look statistically, are during the night, you know. So if everybody's sleeping and his trailer falls over and can't get out, or power lines, how do we get people there or open it up? That's the unfortunate thing. But I mean, I don't think it's our obligation to decide that, but I think, you know, we're supposed to prove it according to statute. What do you guys think about it?
I'd say if they've got all the
You wanna read it?
approvals from the church, and, I mean, that's closer than,
Right. I think the issue is the key part though.
right, yep,
If it's gonna be open or not open, and, you
how
know.
to get, yeah. As long as we can have a plan.
So what I was gonna do with Jim's key, and it was some kind of miscommunication, is that I was wanting to hold it because I'm also designated the emergency manager for the city. So let's say an emergency did happen, I wanted a key from his church. I'm gonna talk to the other churches, get a couple keys in case we need to put people, you know, but this is gonna be like past the fact, after it, you know, it happened, we need to help people out, put them in safe homes and maybe where there's heat or air conditioning or something like that. That's kind of why I wanted the key. But, I mean, this is your call, I don't know what, besides the statute says is, if you follow that, I think you'll be fine. So you guys, I mean, it ain't holding us any obligations, but that would be I guess if I make a motion, I would like to make it with the understanding, knowing that there's no key. If there's a key, but somebody has to bring the key to let the people in. To me, that's a little bit risky. But I don't know, any other building, it would be open
Oh.
24 hours a day. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, and I don't know if it's appropriate to ask, but I was just wondering, and Councilman O'Regan may know the answer to this, because this was probably back in the day when the school was the storm shelter, back when Pat Crawford was the city clerk. And I was just wondering who opened the school then, or was responsible? Do you remember any of that, or was you on the council at that time?
I don't remember who actually was responsible to open the school.
The council approved plan at that time was that our police department would open it. However, we don't have coverage 24 hours a day. And again, I don't know that our insurance was aware that we had taken on that liability.
The reason I ask is because, you know, there's a lot of other people in town too that, you know, live in mobile homes
Oh,
or,
most definitely.
you know.
Yeah, you ain't the only one, I mean, we, you know, I've been, the last week been putting this through my head, is like, what do we do with these people, if it does happen?
Pastor Greg from the Mali United Methodist Church, you're talking about you want access to a place, right?
Correct.
So we can give you that access to our church
Oh.
in that manner, but once again, we have a key situation, right? But there's liabilities within keys of churches, meaning we have to have a list of key holders from the church for insurance purposes, so liability on our end.
Sure.
Right? So if you wanted a key, I could say, okay, this person has a key. We do have people within our community that have those keys, right? So, you know, is the Free Methodist Church a fallout shelter designated as an emergency storm shelter?
No, we're not, we haven't, and I think that's what he's asking here, because he owns the trailer park. Do you own both of them?
Yes.
Okay, so he owns 2 trailer parks, relatively distant, we're about 5 blocks from each other,
yeah.
6 blocks. And so originally we had, when I thought about this, I actually talked to the emergency manager in Morrison County, because I mean, obviously we'd be working really close with them if it happened, but like she said, if trees come down and a storm comes and maybe the key holder can't get there, what do you do? You know, that is a concern for me, is like, okay, where can we put these people? But what I wanted the city to have a key for, and I'm glad you're the pastor now, is I was hoping that we could get a ring and put the church's keys on there and have them hold it here at, you know, in the city hall. So if, let's say, emergency did happen, and Jason lives in Little Falls, and, you know, he may not be able to make it up here.
Mhm.
That either a council member or a fire department can go in and get the key, and we can start placing people.
Well, one of the situations with our church is we also have a security system.
Sure,
And we don't need the security code
correct,
blabbed all through town, even though I think
Most
half the
definitely.
town knows it anyways, but.
most definitely.
But that's another thing, situation. I would be more than happy, to bring that to council at the end of the month, if you want me to, and get back to you on that. I don't
Right.
see a situation in that, we just have.
Well,
to
just
look at
kinda
it.
think about it, and throw it with your board or whatever, and see what they think. I'd like to have three, I'd like to have the one in the north, one in the south. If we get the Catholic one, it gives us kinda three spaces that, like I said, we've been here how many years, and it hasn't happened, but you know, what City of Wadena went through, and, you know, it may happen, and you obviously got some members that are close by, that could probably
Yeah.
walk over there if they had to.
Well, they live right across the,
Right.
you know.
So, but, all right. Well, what do you guys feel about this? I mean, we can approve it for his sake. I wish it was open all the time though, that's my concern.
That's the only concern I see, other than it's not designated as a storm shelter.
Well, it will be once they get, you know, you got the basement, so,
Yeah, it is the basement.
right,
But the location,
it's perfect, I know.
Yeah.
the golf course right across the
And-
street from the big one.
And the pastor said he won't have it unlocked because, he's had people sleep outside and he doesn't want that liability, so.
So the only issue is the key.
Right. So a question for you, and I know it's a little distance, but, you know, Orton's is open 24 hours a day, and I know it's a gas station. But that would be an open facility for them to either drive to or run to if they really needed to. It's not as close as the church though. Have you read the statute?
Mhm.
It says reasonable distance, and what's reasonable is kind of up to, you know, what you think reasonable and I think reasonable is two different things, so.
It doesn't state anything in the statute about being open 24 hours a day though.
And you're 100% correct, I did look at that, and it doesn't say that it has to be open, it just, I question why it wouldn't be open, if, you know what I mean? If it's gonna be a storm
You know,
shelter.
and I've thought about that, and I thought even if there's an emergency site or a shelter on site, meaning in the park itself,
Right.
I don't think I'd wanna leave them open 24 hours either. I would probably give each resident a key.
So what happens if the trailer house blows over, mom gets
You know.
hurt or killed, and the kid can't get, you have no waste of way to go?
I don't know, the only problem is what's gonna go on in that shelter
I
if
know,
it's open 24 hours.
I know,
That's the only thing I think of.
yeah. All right, well,
But
I guess I'm comfortable with approving this pending that, but I would like to have it in the motion that, you know, I have concerns that it's not open 24 hours a day. If somebody wants to make a sort motion like that.
And that key would be in City Hall here
No,
also.
no, we don't have it, he took the key back, because, you know, I'm not sure why this.
So a resident of the park would have a key then?
There'll be a resident at one of the parks, which will
Yes.
be 5 blocks away.
I guess I'll make that motion.
What is the motion exactly, can you clarify?
To, accept the church as a storm shelter facility, with, not really questioning, but, concerns about, not being open 24/7.
If there was a police officer on duty 24/7, would that change things then as far as the key goes, or wouldn't?
I would think so, we'd let him have the key on his ring, and I think that's what used to happen. But, you know, we have 2 officers, and I don't see us ever being a 24-hour city unless we grow, you know,
Yeah, we'd have to go quite a bit.
yeah. So if a storm happened at 3 in the morning, at 2 in the morning, they may not even be here, you know. We have fire chiefs and stuff too, but we had, for an example, a couple of years ago, we realized that if the power goes off, our siren don't work. So we ended up getting a new generator, because of that, it lights up City
Well-
Hall, and then we get our siren, but there's stuff that we didn't think about.
One thing I was thinking about too is I could get the key holder weather radio. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where you program your counties.
It,
I mean, you know, I have one and I'll tell you what, they wake you up.
yeah. Yeah. Well, we're not denying it, because I mean, I think per statute, you're 100% right, it doesn't say it has to be open. I kinda tried digging into it a little bit, saying what is a designated, what is, and it doesn't say that it has to be open, it says it has to be within reasonable distance of the residence. And then you have to make sure that each of them get a copy. So, I mean, I guess we don't really have a leg to stand and say it has to be open, but I would prefer it was, and I think we could have that in our motion.
We can keep, yeah. I would second the motion as it's stated.
You have it,
No, I don't have it the way it's stated. I have Carlson moved to accept the church as an emergency shelter, noting that the council is concerned with the fact that it is not open 24/7.
alright,
Is that?
that sounds good.
Yeah, that was as stated.
Okay, we got a second by Pat.
And if he's gonna get a weather radio for the key holder, I mean, that's gonna help a lot.
Right.
Like I said,
Yeah, I can do
they'll
that.
blow you right out of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
I know they will.
Yeah.
Alright. Any more discussion? No? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Do I get that back
You
then?
can have that.
Okay.
Well, I
What-
think we need to get a copy
You
of
want a
it.
copy of it?
Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Alright. Pastor Craig Leslie, approval of the park during summers for movies at the park, page 18. I don't believe he's here.
I'm right here.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah, we've been talking. Everybody else seems to know me in the room. I don't know.
So, how often are you guys talking about doing this?
So last year we did this at our church,
Okay.
every Thursday night, for 2 months. I think we did it 10 weeks.
Okay.
Starting after June Fest, once we did the initial advertising at June Fest, then we went out and then, we would do it at the church.
Okay,
Well, this year we want to move it over to the park, try to make it a little more community based.
okay,
I have a big blow-up screen, we have the projector, we have the speakers, and we figured that Converse Park would be a great place to do that. But we wanted to go through the correct, avenues of making sure that that's okay with you.
right. The only other thing that I know is the other church does, neighborhood, what do they call it?
On Wednesday nights.
On Wednesday night,
Yeah,
so you're
so
talking
this-
about doing it
This
on?
would be Friday nights.
Okay,
So, it would be accessible to anybody, who wanted to come. It would be a community event, so.
okay. Well, we're happy to have people come over there.
Well, but we wanted to make sure that you knew about that,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And if you had any questions about liability with that, we do have, our policies do cover that when we go outside the church grounds
Okay,
with our insurance stuff. We do plan on having some games,
okay,
and it may be, I hope not too loud, but I'm just saying. I'm sure Janet would be fine with it across the road, so. But do you have any, I was just wondering if you have any questions, there'll be, if anything that you want to discuss about it or anything of the sort, so.
no, and I don't know how much room and stuff you need. We are looking at maybe putting up a pavilion there.
Mhm.
And Bruce can probably talk about it a little bit later on about that, but, there may be construction there where it may be make it a little bit difficult for you guys to be there at that point, but other than that, I don't see any issues.
I think it's a great idea.
So it'd be like Friday nights starting at dark,
Okay.
which is about 9:30, 9 o'clock on a Friday night, so.
Okay.
Just a family-based activity is really
Okay.
what it is, so.
Lacey, do you have something you want to add to this?
The only thing I wanted to say, and I guess if it's starting when it's dark, is that we don't really have a way to reserve the park at this
Right.
point or anything like that. But again, if it's that late at night, nobody's gonna be using it for anything else.
And we have a big enough park that they can move one end to the other if somebody is playing or whatever, you know.
Is there any specific, so we'll need electricity, which we would be more than happy if we need to donate to help cover that, that would be fine. But what do you,
Bruce is the one with electricity.
hey Bruce,
Right now there's power.
we'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, hey, I understand, right? Right, bud? All right.
Alright, so yeah, we don't, you guys wanna make a motion that we're okay with letting the church use the park for movie night on starting Friday nights?
I will make that motion.
Okay, motion made by, Johnson, looking for a second.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Carlson. Any more discussion? Anybody? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you for making it a community event. Department reports, look at planning and zoning.
We don't have anything actionable. We are working on a few projects. Nothing requires any action tonight.
Okay. Building department, we have nothing. Fire department. Brian.
The month of April, we had 9 medicals and 6 fire calls. And the only thing we got here is we're looking for the approval for the resignation of First Assistant Chief Jim Ullman and to appoint me, Brian Stevens, as First Assistant Chief.
Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the resignation of Alman and then the new appointment for Stevens, Brian Stevens, Assistant Chief.
So
Motion made by O'Regan, looking for a second.
I will second it.
Seconded by Carlson. All in favor, do you have any discussion? I should have probably asked him to move these around the fire department, but.
Oh, I suppose.
I second it.
Can we make a second move of Steve? Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations, Brian. Anybody have anything else?
That's all we have.
Okay. Anybody have anything for the fire department? Any council? All right. Police department, Jason Borish.
We had 144 calls for the month of April, bringing us up to a total of 408 so far this school year, or this year. At school, I put in 45.5 hours as resource officer. Any other questions on the report? Moving on, clear camera. A couple months ago, you guys had accepted donation from the Lions Club as well from the Fire Department Relief Association towards a new Noptic thermal imaging camera, mounts on the squad car. At this time, I'd like to ask the council for permission to apply for a grant through Sourcewell. It's a small projects partnership grant, which is a matching grant, so they'll cover half the cost. And with that, also approve, if, once awarded the grant, for the approval to purchase the camera right away.
So on your funds on the camera portion, are you short the 2,500?
So out of that, I was short $394,
Okay.
which I was planning on taking out of my budget, which I could afford. And coming up later in the meeting here, we received a donation today for that $394, so it won't cost the department any money.
Okay. But you're still applying for the
We'll
Sourcewell?
be applying for the grant, yes, to cover half of the cost.
Okay.
And then the donations cover the other half.
All right. Okay, I think,
Can you quickly explain the camera, what it does?
Yep, it's a thermal imaging camera that mounts onto our spotlight on the squad car. So in one direction you're shining with your spotlight and we can twist it around and it flips the other way and that'll have the night vision camera pointing out, which picks up heat sources. So we can see individuals, vehicles that have been recently driven. It typically picks up objects or individuals with heat at least 1,000 yards out.
Just close your curtain.
So they're very handy and useful in night situations where we have maybe a missing person or a subject that flees a traffic stop, they take off running on foot and you're trying to chase them, you can locate where they are in the darkness.
So it's just thermal, like if
Yes.
you get in a fight or something and the spotlight's on there, you won't be able to see that. You'll just be able to spot the individual hiding in
Correct,
the
yep,
weeds or behind the curtain
yep.
or something.
Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you.
The other thing that I would like to see is, obviously, council's gonna approve that we do a policy on that too. Thermal imaging policy, just protect us.
Okay.
We're not going around shining on residents in their house. So. Anyways, you guys wanna make a motion to approve Sourcewell?
I will make a motion.
Second.
Second by Reagan. Any more discussion? I guess I am in favor for applying for that, the fact that he has the funds already, so not such a big deal, so. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Second approval would be to purchase it.
I will make a motion to approve the purchase of the FLIR camera.
Okay, motion made by Carlson, looking for a second.
So moved.
Second by Reagan. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, next on my agenda I had requests for a council approved trespass order. On April 20th, we had an incident where Bruce and I had been there the day before at Converse Park. We have the new camera system out there mounted on the park building. Monitor activity in the park due to some vandalism issues and so forth in the past. On April 20th, we had two individuals that came into the park and started tampering with our cameras. They were obviously caught on camera very clearly. I spoke with both parties about it. The one admitted to doing it, had no qualms about it. He didn't think it was that big a deal. He stated he thought that we had the cameras pointed in the wrong directions and he was readjusting them for us. When I asked him how he knew where we had them pointed, he said, I own a security system, so I know how to point cameras. And I asked him if he would appreciate me coming to his house and readjusting his cameras, and he said, well, of course not, I'd have you charged with a crime then. So, he thinks it's all right to do it on the public property, but not vice versa. So, the other individual denied the whole incident, stating that he had nothing to do with it, even though it was very clearly seen on the cameras that he was there helping. So, I can show you the video on my phone here if you like through the camera system of what transpired that day if you want to see.
You guys wanna see it?
I'm okay.
I'm okay as well.
I'm okay.
Okay.
So,
So you recommend sending a trespass?
my recommendation, due to frequent issues with these two residents, one being a past council member, which should know better, it's time to quit giving them warnings and give them a trespass order, not allow them into the park any further.
I will make that motion
Okay,
to
motion.
go ahead with the trespass order.
You wanna timestamp it, or you wanna just, wherever?
Oh, I would like to timestamp it.
Typically, they're 1 year, is a starting point, and further if need be after that point, but typical is a 1 year trespass order unless you wanna do more.
I don't know, maybe it'd be nice to look at it now, but I think,
I seen it, it wasn't that, but the fingers came out and everything else, so they knew we were watching.
all right. Yes, I will make the motion for trespass and permanent,
Permanent,
yes.
okay, we had a motion for a permanent trespass order, give a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Chase Carlson. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
That's all I have at this time, unless you guys have any further questions for me.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Jason?
Thank you.
Public Works, Bruce.
Okay, page 27 is my report. You see Brian did the hydrant flushing this month and we got that complete, so we used a lot of water on a couple of days. We did make limits. Other than that, not much more to report. You got any questions? Okay, moving on, the industrial park, we had a contractor approach, Brian actually,